Okay, so if I'm honest, it's been a rough week at the office and I'm in the mood for some comfort food, you know, that kind of comfort food that you had when you were little, that your grandparents would give you to cheer you up. And what's better comfort food than cottage pie?
Well, there is one thing better than cottage pie, and that is a lot of cottage pie. Now, what I've got here, each one of these trays has 1.2 kilos, so 3.6 kilos of cottage pie in total, which, if my math serves me, is exactly 8 pounds of cottage pie. I've got a pound of mixed vegetables, and I've got some garlic bread over here, bringing this total meal to around £9.5. Now, this is going to be up there with the biggest challenges I've ever taken on. I'm looking forward to it. And I've got my hot sauce at the ready. Got a nice big spoon. I even remembered to pre-bring the drinks this time. So without further ado, let's set this timer. I'm going to try and get this down in under an hour. So let's get started. So get some veg in for the health. Let's see how hot this is. Oh, yeah, suitably scalding straight from the off. Maybe we'll just start with the veg.
Hello there and welcome to another Wayward Feasters episode, where this week we are taking on a mountain of cottage pie.
I'm going to try and do maybe a third of the garlic bread per tray.
And I know what you're thinking, he still hasn't learned his lesson and let the food cool down. Well, you are correct, and it still burns.
This is another one of those foods where it's been so long since I've had it, I've been looking forward to this all day.
Yeah, this is another one of those challenges that came about due to cravings, and I'm glad I did it.
Interestingly, if you've been watching the channel, you know I had a lot of my challenges have been very carby. So doing a challenge with this much meat and veg is actually a kind of a new thing for me. And after last week's sweet and spicy restaurant extravaganza, also quite a nice change of pace.
It actually was. I think more meat-heavy challenges in my future.
You may also notice the bottle of Frank's here, just because I have this weird thing where I do like to put hot sauce on my vegetables. Not that after the fire in the hole challenge, anything else is remotely hot anymore. I'm pretty sure I burnt my taste buds clean off at that point.
Yes, I think those damn chicken wings have replaced the yogurt in terms of challenges that have absolutely traumatised me. But let me know in the comments if anyone else out there has the habit of putting hot sauce on vegetables. It's one of my favourite quirks.
You notice I've forgone the usual Dr. Pepper today in favour of some of this cream soda, courtesy of what I think is American Week in Aldi. That once again supplied this delicious food from their fresh and also discounted section.
Yeah, another thing I can't do is walk past cream soda in any shop without picking some up. Unfortunately, a lot of the shops local to me don't sell it, so whenever somewhere like Aldi have it in stock, I will load the fridge up with the stuff, as it's the closest thing I can find to vanilla Coke. So yay, cream soda is the only thing that makes this very British challenge a little bit more American as well.
You know, it's ironic really. I'm actually recording this on the 4th of July when everybody's going nuts for the Nathan's hot dog competition, and here I am sat here eating possibly the most English challenge ever concocted. So, you know, the cream soda does give it the American kick, I think. It's in the American section anyway. Here we've got an early cat cameo today. Down you get, Bartholomew.
It would almost be weird if the cats didn't try and join the video at this stage. I think we've met 2 of them. I'm not sure the third one's been in yet. I can't remember. I'll have to go back and check.
When the veg is gone, that guarantees no weight gain from this challenge. Right, get back to the bowl.
Yep, everybody knows that finishing off a good portion of veg with your meals, guaranteed it's healthy no matter what else is in there. So a pound of veg means a pound of good health.
I had flashbacks of horror to the last time I did a challenge with this much potato in it. Which would be the first one, the bangers and mash one. The last and only time I failed so far. And I hope I don't live to regret those words.
I don't know why you're saying flashbacks of horror to the bangers and mash challenge, because you actually finished the mash. The potatoes very much were not the issue.
Once again, Aldi, you've come through. The mash on this is really like light and fluffy.
Yeah, maybe that's the trick. Next time we'll buy some Aldi brand mash, if such a thing exists.
And that was the first tray. Dang, that went down surprisingly easily, actually. Bodes well. Go back here, Will.
Yep, once again, big up to Aldi here. The food selection there, especially in the fresh section, is pretty damn good. And if anyone from Aldi ever hears this, I am still pandering for that sponsorship, because I've been spending so much money in your shop on food challenges that, you know, you owe me at this point. But if not, I will probably still keep patroning you to get the food for these delicious challenges. So if anyone can think of anything good in Aldi I can do for another video, let me know in the comments, because I will eventually run out of ideas. But I mean, we are going to be remashing the bangers and mash at some point, just because I cannot live with defeat. So that one's going to be one of the first on the agenda. But maybe they will have some pre-packaged mash I can get, just to, so I don't break my arms trying to mash it again. But hey ho, we'll see.
Well, keep the sweet drink coming. Just to keep the flavour of the tea at bay. As with a meal like this, where it's just lots of one thing, that can become a very real issue. When I'm not the biggest sufferer of flavour fatigue compared to some, but I can feel it coming on a little bit, so we're sort of halfway through.
Yeah, as nice as this was, the fact that it was £8 of just pretty much one thing did make this more of a struggle than it possibly could have been.
What's the timer looking like? 16 minutes. Okay, we're making decent headway. We're over halfway through. I think it's usually around the 20-minute mark with these kind of volume challenges where things start to get difficult. And the brain catches up with the belly a little bit.
One surprising thing about this was how good I still felt at this point. Nearly 2 trays down, about £5 of cottage pie, and it really wasn't a struggle. I mean, it did sort of get harder later. As I said, it's one of the biggest volume challenges I've ever taken on. But yeah, I was actually quite impressed with myself here and how well I was bearing up at this point.
Here's what there's no debris in there. We're down tray the second, right. Right, final push. Oh, that's needed.
I think there's something about knowing you're onto the final stretch, that's maybe the final tray in a challenge like this, that makes things genuinely feel harder than perhaps they are. I don't know, I'm still getting used to these kind of challenges, so I'll have to let you know down the line if that is the case.
Can't think of anything worse than having nice doughy bread at this point, but it's there and it's got to go down.
Yeah, as in previous challenges, the rapidly cooling bread, which was surprisingly doughy, it was nice and it was a fresh piece, which was good, but as it cooled, it became harder to eat, and doing bread at the end of the challenges is a challenge for anybody, so that, I guess that's why we put them in at the end, just to make it feel like more of a struggle than perhaps otherwise it would have been. I think this would have been a much easier challenge if it wasn't for the bread, but hey, we've got to push ourselves.
I'm starting to get a little bit full, but hopefully we've got enough left to push through. Like I said, this is one of the biggest challenges I've ever done, and definitely the biggest meat-based one I've done in a long time.
It's one thing I find fascinating about food challenges, how different foodstuffs kind of hit differently. Whereas I've done big challenges before, doing one with this much meat was in fact new to me, and it feels different. It feels different in the body. It feels a bit heavier, but in a weird sort of way it goes down a little bit easier. So this was just me just kind of getting used to it, I think.
Yeah, we're at that point now where we're limping over the finish line.
Stop being so defeatist. One day you're going to storm over one of these finish lines and not look so sullen at the end. Come on, leave people finishing on a high, why don't you? But still, in spite of the sullen face at the end there, I was still pretty damn proud. be able to get this challenge down. I mean, I think you can probably establish at this point that the fail is very, very, very unlikely, even if things have slowed down substantially and these last few mouthfuls do take a while. In fact, some might say the last few mouthfuls taking a while has almost become a trademark of mine. I mean, I think I've broken a few records for the slowest mouthfuls ever chewed over the last couple of videos. Though I do almost have to laugh at myself how much I'm sinking into the table here. It's almost like I maybe need to get a higher table to stop me doing it. Keep a good posture, it might help with finishing the challenges off better. And even if it doesn't, it'll at least look more professional, which is what you're going for here. If you want to get taken seriously in the world of eating, you cannot look so defeated at the end of every challenge, man.
Shouldn't have had that pizza earlier.
Yeah, Brain of Britain strikes again. You did this after work at the end of the day and look what happened.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I should always do my challenges in the morning just to avoid the temptations of the day. Alright, that's tray 3 gone. Alright, just this bread. Very quickly, how's it doing? 31 minutes. Well, 9 pounds of food in half an hour. Not too bad. Bread's gone cold now.
I do quite often wonder what my food capacity would actually be if I had anything approaching self-restraint and could bring myself to do one of these challenges having not had breakfast, lunch and in this case dinner, and especially having a pizza for dinner as well and doing this only a couple of hours later, which would probably again account for why I look so defeated at the end. So maybe next time somebody can chain me down and just let me loose at the end of the day to see if I could just smash this down and look like a champ instead of a sad old man just trying to prove a point by stuffing loads of food down his gullet. Even though technically many probably would class me as being a sad old man just having a bit of a midlife crisis here by deciding at 42 years old I can make it as a competitive eater.
So close. So close.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, as you watch me very excruciatingly slowly chew my way through this last remaining piece or two of bread, I am going to bid you all adieu. Thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to like, subscribe and comment, even if it's just a bit of abuse, because God knows I deserve it. And I will see you all next time. Thank you very much.
And that, in a time of 38 minutes and 2 seconds, is the 9.5 pound cottage pie challenge just about beaten, and now I am going to hibernate. Peace.